Yate, I'm Abby. I am going to be storytelling a game of beautiful madness, Changeling the Lost First Edition. This is a modified version that I've made that's a little more friendly to V5 players. I'm very excited to be telling the story with this amazing group of players. And without further ado, let's get right into the story, because I'm sure you all want to see some face shenanigans. Vice City, the 305, the gateway to the Americas. Miami needs no introduction. You've already got an image in mind, don't you? Of sprawling white beaches, a vibrant nightlife. But take a step back. Close your eyes. Here, we focus on the dreaming within the place between magic and dreaming. Changelings thrive here in the Magic City, balanced by the 4 seasonal courts that keep their captors at bay. The freehold of the Trident has remained steadfast in the face of an ever-banal world. Until now, that is. A year ago, the ruler of summer, Grandfather Thunder, declared himself the eternal king of endless summer. He overthrew his fellow monarchs, your leaders, through banishment, even murder. It set you and the other changelings of the city on edge. Now whispers of darker things, other things at the edge of the freehold's borders have the city shrouded in paranoia like an ever-constant humidity. Balance must be restored, or else. But before we venture too deep into the story of an entire city, let's zoom in. Let's visit a sleepy bar on the edge of South Beach, where our 4 changelings are meeting, the promise of rebellion stirring within each of their hearts. Now, our 4 changelings have been contacted by one Rollo of the Winter Court. Mara may have known of him due to their courtly associations, but the message was vague. Something about a coup, secrecy, and you all know the danger of even entertaining this idea. If Thunder finds out, your head's gonna end up next to Tom Hood's. So, as we zoom in to Kim's, a sleepy little tourist bar near the White Beaches, who's the first to show up?
I think Mara, knowing who it comes from, and while there is secrecy, the importance, she'll find herself very Aragon style in a booth in the corner of the bar.
I love this. Now, Rollo's been a little bit more open with you, considering that you both share a court, and you also know who his patron is, but is that something you want to voice to the rest of your motley as they slowly trickle in?
I don't know them.
Fair. You're all fairly new to changeling life.
Is this bar changeling friendly?
It is changeling friendly. It's about 4 a.m. in the morning. Rollo has asked you all to come very early, in better hopes to avoid the nights of summer. But there are a few mortals about. You see a few members of other courts enjoying the taste of glamour that seeps off their skin as they desperately grind their way into the night, trying to find some kind of action.
It is at the most perfect of moments where no one's looking into the booth, where there is a trail of smoke that just flows into an empty seat, and it looks like someone basically in animation, like the stretch of somebody coming in and just sitting, crossing a leg over their lap and just leaning a hand against the palm, smiling this like rictus smile over at Mara.
What does Cheshire look like fully?
Looks like a man in his 30s, currently wearing a blazer, a Hawaiian shirt underneath, and a pair of sunglasses at night. So he can. There is also a cigarette between his fingers as he appears. Like, he does the magician, like, flick of the wrist, and it just appears between, like, his pointer and middle finger.
Mm-hmm. As you appear, you see Mara, who, by all intents and purposes, to the human eye, looks like someone with albinism, pale skin, light color, eyes, white hair that's kind of slicked back. And they're wearing jean overalls with a sweater underneath that's off the shoulders. As the smoke kind of crawls in, Their eyes slowly flicker to it as it solidifies into Cheshire. There's just the slight curve of very well manicured eyebrow. As you pull the cigarette out of thin air, she grabs her drink and you can kind of see that it chills. The glass itself chills, it frosts over as she grabs it. And there's just a very unamused fancy trick as she takes a drink.
I wouldn't call it a trick, it's more like how to make an entrance. Though the effect would probably be a lot better if there were more people here.
Strangely enough, the mortals around you continue their merriment and carousing. To them, you appear as just a pair of friends sitting in a booth. The mask has done you that favor. But as the night goes on, the rest of your motley still has yet to appear. Until...
Ripley breezes in, all 5 foot of her. She's short, curvy. She's a well-known cover model in the area. Her hair always has the appearance of being somewhere between curly and straight, almost as if she's been stuck in the morning fog for a bit too long. It always appears a bit damp. Her glamour hides the crown of flowers and antlers that pop out from the curls on her head, and she looks about with big doe-like eyes for the table before gliding over, her hips gently swaying.
Oh yeah, as you make your approach to the table, there is, few gentlemen, few ladies, they turn their heads. Even though your glamour is hidden by the mask, your animal magnetism is unstoppable. They just cannot help but look at you, as if Venus has just fallen into this dusty little bar in the side of Miami.
Is everyone here yet?
I believe we're missing one.
Okay. And she will sit down gracefully and fold both hands on the table.
Now for our summer changeling. Summer, you might say. About as loose as the wind, this one. When does Kit blow in?
The people that are closest to the window of the bar, they all start looking out the window. You can see. You maybe can't see it if you're not up on it, but you can eventually see a large shadow pass in front of the window. Very large. You swear to God it's a horse. And everybody's craning their heads to look as it goes by. And a few moments later, through the door comes, you not an honest-to-God cowboy. Hat, coat, vest, belt buckle, the whole deal. People that are more local to the area, probably used to it by now. The tourists are real confused. But you don't pay them no mind. Pushes open the door, walks in, grabs the drink, looks around for the strangest looking people he can find, and happens to spot you three as he comes and sits down to join you. Sorry if I'm late.
I just figured you'd like to make an entrance.
Don't I always?
I like your hat.
Thank you. I'm quite fond of it myself.
Cheshire has leaned back in his chair and has been stacking shot glasses into a miniature pyramid. No, we haven't been waiting long at all.
Oh, well, good. I'd hate to keep y'all waiting too long. Do you mind if and he just, plucks the cigarette out of your hands?
No, please, by all means. Do you need a light?
Oh, no, I'm perfectly fine. Thank you kindly.
Cheshire flicks his wrist again, and there's another cigarette that appears.
Men.
Would everyone mind making me a wits and awareness roll? You can use streetwise as well. So, because this is a Chronicles of Darkness game, it uses d10s, just like Vampire the Masquerade with V5. However, successes are much harder to reach, but one success has the same equivalent as, say 5 successes in World of Darkness. So 8 and aboves count as successes. All our changelings need to succeed this is 1.
You said wits and streetwise, right?
Wits and streetwise.
Great, thank you. I wasn't seeing awareness on here. I got 2 successes.
3 successes.
Oh my gosh, high rollers already. Let me make a roll for our friend here. Oh, so something to note with ones. Ones actually subtract from your success. So if you roll a 1, subtract 1.
1 success then.
1 success.
What are we looking? What's the target number?
Your 8 and aboves are a success, and you only need 1.
2 successes.
All of you notice, slinking near the edge of where, mortals are thriving, jigging on the dance floor, a few couples are starting to peel off from the main herd. The most pitiful excuse of a man you've ever seen. He looks like a maggot that's been stuffed into human skin. Oily, greasy, shiny black eyes. Mara, you immediately recognize him as Rollo. And Ripley, you see that he's attempting to use a certain autumn court talent. Strange for someone of the winter court. He's trying to get into your minds. You see him casting certain hand movements before you both make eye contact. And he just mouths the words, "Meet me at the bar."
We should all go get a drink.
I could use
I
another
haven't
one.
quite finished mine yet, but
Mara is going to take Kit's drink and down it back. You need another drink.
I love a woman that can keep up. Shall we?
As Mara stands up, I think as we can kind of see more getting out of the shadows, and you can kind of see through that mask, the skin is less pinky yellow that most humans would have. It has now purple and blue undertones. Eyes are no longer human. They have they're like this frosted over orb, and the hair almost ends in like falling frost. And she makes her way over to the bar.
As all of you approach the bar, Rollo gives you a nervous, easy smile. It's really weird to see his face contort. It's almost waxen. Sorry about all the secrecy in the early hour. I just had to make sure that you weren't followed by the knights. Look, I know you've got questions, but later. I just gotta make sure that the rest of them clear out. And he gestures at the crowd. You can see a few changelings of various courts. Ripley in particular, you spot a few spring changelings. Kit, maybe a few extracurricular partners is what we'll call them.
Well, given it is the time of night it is, I suggest that a round of drinks for everyone to pass the time. And then looks at Rollo like, "You're paying, right?"
He gives you a sheepish grin and produces a small wallet. Here, cards on me. It's Jenny's.
Don't know who that is.
Thank you, Jenny.
Like I said, I know you all have questions, but we just gotta do it somewhere where we're safe. And just gotta play it natural.
Natural, of course.
The bar is the centralized bar closest to everybody coming and going and getting drinks is safer than the little booth we had over there.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be honest, all of you, with all your little thingamajigs, y'all stick out like a sore thumb. The summer knights are gonna come knocking if they see a group of changelings randomly assembled at 4 a.m. Changelings at a bar? Little less suspicious.
You do know I have a hollow, right?
You do?
Yeah.
I didn't know Nama was giving people hollows. She's pretty stingy.
Yeah, give. Knocks a drink back.
You watch his Adam's apple just bob up and down nervously before he makes one last scan over the bar. And just at his hip, motions for you all to follow as he starts to lead you to a back door. I mean, if you don't want to follow, you absolutely can. It is pretty suspicious. He's leading you to the back of a bar at 4 a.m.
Kid'll wait to see what everyone else does.
Yep. I'll just gesture, go.
Not in a...
Ripley's already following.
Mara is standing up and following. As she does so, she eyes Ripley for a moment. Fascinating features you have. And just continue her way.
Ripley doesn't even acknowledge your comment.
You're the fairest of them all. Why would you have to? Rillo talks briefly with a bouncer. He's mortal, but large enough to be an ogre. He steps aside and he opens the door to a musty basement. You can practically smell the mold from here. Well, ladies first.
Continue going in.
Cheshire will follow.
At the door, I'll gesture to Rolo and go, please, after you.
Rollo sneers at you a little bit and mutters something under his breath. With your level of wits, I'm going to say you do catch that he says courtless under his breath as he walks deeper into the basement. Mara, you're the first to realize that he's taking you through the hedge. It goes from rusty pipes lining the walls to eventually the familiar, vibrant green of the hedge's thorns. You can feel them almost pricking at your very soul, your being, as you enter through. And the moment you all cross that threshold, Rollo turns to you all. Okay, what are your questions?
Why exactly are we here?
I mean, you got the letter. Mara, come on. You got the letter. It's for Jenny. And as he mentions the name Jenny, you realize who this is. Jenny is a powerful changeling within the Winter Court. She has separated herself from the main court through her own little duchy, as she used to like to call it. She's been quite the thorn in the side for grandfather.
Why not reach out directly? Why all the secrecy?
Look, I don't want to offend your Autumn friend over there, but you saw what they did to Tom Hood. I'm not keen to join his head on Adam's belt.
Fair. So what does Jenny need then? I've heard whispers of a coup, and I would like to also not join Tom Hood's head.
Jenny needs friends. We all need friends, right? I mean, you guys wouldn't be a motley if changelings, us, we didn't need companionship. And Jenny needs you all, and she appreciates this great leap of faith that you're all taking, as do I. And if anyone wants to roll, you can determine whether or not he's being honest. He's certainly shaky, but that could just be nerves from the fact that he could be moments away from execution.
What are we rolling?
Let me double check. You can roll intelligence and empathy or expression, as well as socialization or subterfuge. But your main will be intelligence and charisma. Not charisma, presence. See, again, using those V5 terms.
Well, to justify it then, I'm going to roll presence and subterfuge. I have a specialty in sweet talking, and I'm trying to see if this guy is doing exactly that right.
Could I roll intelligence and socialize because my socialize is in rumor mongering?
Oh, absolutely. And actually, Cheshire, add an extra die because he's been sniffing around your court lately. You've seen his face.
I would like to use intelligence and subterfuge because Mara likes to sniff out lies and know who's being truthful to her.
Mara, you add extra die as well. He's part of your court. You know him.
I have 2 successes.
Okay, so I rolled a 9 and a 10, and then I re-rolled to a 10 and a 2.
At a certain point, I'll just cut it off and say, you definitely know. He is terrified.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
He is petrified of something, whether it is the threat of execution or simply the fact that he is breaking the law and he could get into trouble for this. And he doesn't want to get into trouble because sometimes trouble is worse than death here in Miami. I'm going to say for those who roll... Oh, go ahead, sorry?
I got 7 successes.
Cheshire, you zone in on him in particular. You know, everyone's giving him this look of, why are you acting like this? You're being a bit cagey. You know the look of someone who's been sent to do another's bidding, and Rollo is failing miserably at it. He is scared. He is not only scared of execution, but he is terrified of what happens if he fails and does not recruit you successfully.
There is that knowing smile as Cheshire has found some place to sit once again and crosses legs and starts smoking.
Probably lean into the hedge, feeling it. It almost whispers. You can almost hear a familiar voice somewhere in the back of your head, but that fades.
Kind of has to resist the need to nuzzle into the hedge, like that's a comfort. You're not really good at this whole recruitment thing, are you?
Rollo rips himself away from Ripley, who he has been staring at for a hot minute. Oh, can you not? Look,
Cheshire
I'm really...
stands and walks over to him, like just circling like a shark, and kind of takes a foot, puts it between like how Rollo is standing, slides his foot slightly to make him stand a little bit straighter, pushes his back in a little bit more to make him stand straight. Now all you need is the confidence.
He gulps once again. When the mission is of this kind of importance, you gotta understand that there are nerves, buddy. Can you please get out of my space?
Don't torment the man.
How tall is Rollo?
He's 5'6".
If recruitment it's so important to you, Rollo, my dear, Mars stands at about a 5'9", tall, a little taller than average. Then go ahead and spit it out.
Look, like your friend was getting at, it's not my decision to make. I'm doing this for the good of everyone here. I mean, that's why he accepted. We don't want to deal with grandfather's mess anymore. We know where this ends up. And when he says, when you know where this ends up, you know he's referring to your captors, your keepers. Everything's out of balance.
Ripley, since she rolled a 1 on that last roll, I think hasn't even been paying attention to this guy, even though he was very keen on her, and is just kind of staring off, actually leaning in towards the hedge. And at the sound of grandfather, just turns around and says, "What's wrong with grandfather?"
I mean, you can't be that naive. I mean, you're part of the Duchy Spring, so maybe you are. But you know what? You're useful. Let's just keep going. And he runs through the hedge. Come on, meeting point's right up ahead.
Kit very gently touches the 3 scars on his face before just kind of shaking his head and go, "Well, what are we here for otherwise, right?" Head down, pushes through the hedge.
"I like him. He said I was useful." And Ripley moves forward through the hedge.
I suppose this is the group I was given, and Mara will step forward.
Cheshire will pull out a metal lighter and just click it twice to light his cigarette. Stares at the hedge that everyone's pushing through. This could be fun. And then starts heading in as well.
You go through the hedge, a bit further, walking through the dirt path. How quickly that concrete has turned into something too familiar. That deep greenness, however, starts to fade. As eventually you head into a clearing. It looks almost like a bayou, encapsulated in a green dome. In the middle of it is an old townhouse, rotten at the base where the water has seeped in too deeply. It's quaint, painted soft purple, but Rollo's standing on the porch, nervously tapping his foot and looking at his watch.
Reminds me of home.
Jenny's a good hostess, trust me. You made a good decision, except on that note.
She's definitely something.
That she is. She's given your king, John Sleet, quite a run for his money.
Admirable.
Once you've all gathered on the porch, Rollo looks around once more as if he's expecting the wall to suddenly burst into foes. Raps on the door. Once. Twice. Third time, before his knuckles can even connect with the wood, it's opened. You see a figure, draped in a veil. Bits of ice clinging to it, her face hidden. But a voice soft and as gentle as hot chocolate on an evening in the winter beckons to you all. Oh, there you all are. I apologize for the secrecy, but please, come in, warm yourselves.
Mara will step forward. Jenny, dear.
Mara, I must say, I was surprised you accepted the invitation, but I do know that you have a good head about you.
I was bored.
Bored enough for a coup.
Yes.
I knew I liked you. She takes your hand and leads you into her parlor.
She'll take it and go in with her.
How many of us in the Motley would know Jenny?
All right, there's actually a roll for that. Let me make that. Using any of your social abilities, as well as your intelligence, as well as your presence. So presence, intelligence, or any of your social roles. Particularly,
Or any of my social roles.
Yeah, particularly streetwise in this situation.
What exactly do I know of Jenny? Because I know we mentioned that I knew her, and I think I'm kind of trying to remember because I didn't write it down to our little character.
You have
creation
court goodwill
session.
with her.
Yeah, I have court goodwill with her. That's what I thought. Okay.
2 successes for Cheshire.
Cheshire, you recall that she was a later addition to the court. She's a bit old for a changeling. Most of you have only been here for about half a decade. But Jenny has situated herself in a way that she's not only not angered the king of her court, but set up her own duchy. She calls it the Duchy of the Icebound Heart. Very fitting, but also very unusual, especially in a time of tyranny.
He has removed his sunglasses and taken his coat and draped it over an arm because he's going into a lady's house. Full gentleman, just walks over to her, hand on chest, heartfelt. Lady Jenny, it's been a while. And these 2 cat-eyed pupils will look up to her from his bowed position.
Jenny clasps her hand and smiles at you graciously. A perfect hostess. Behind her are the thousand lights of candles that cover her entire living room. The fireplace is not lit, but candles cover every bare inch of it.
Small pleasantry exchange. We'll walk into the parlor.
She offers you all seats on some rather moth-eaten furniture, the same soft purple as her cheeks. Once you're all settled, she looks to Rollo. You watch outside, dear. I wouldn't want any unexpected guests. He demurely nods and heads outside, and she turns to the rest of you all. I appreciate your candor in this time. It's difficult to trust anyone, especially with Grandfather's latest tricks. If you've anything to ask of me, then please, ask it now.
Well, ma'am, I suppose the only thing that there is to ask is, what exactly is it that you're looking to do?
Blue Jenny's eyes are glossy without pupils, but you see them harden just that little bit. I want Grandfather's head, of course. You haven't been in Miami for as long as I have, but he has unsettled the balance. 4 seasonal courts. The antlered crown is split into 2. No one knows where Rosethorn has gone. Nama is hidden away in her precious university, and Tom Hood lay dead. If Jonathan Sleet is content to sit and make money off his funeral homes, then I will be the one to act. I will restore Miami, and I need your help. Every changeling's help.
Well, I can understand why you asked me, but what is with the others? And she'll motion to the other 3.
Clearly you don't know my reputation, dear.
Clearly you don't know mine.
I don't know anything.
I can tell.
I can tell.
Ripley's staring off into the candlelight. She has found her light and is sitting quietly, looks back to you all. If we help you, can you draw off the wild hunt?
Her eyes widen as you mention the wild hunt. I suspected you'd have something to do with him. And the only reason that they plague our borders is because grandfather has neglected his duties to the four courts. She leans over and takes your hand in hers, ice cold but soft. I promise you, Ripley, on my keeper, that I will see it that you are brought to no harm.
All right, I'll help.
Good girl. She smiles and pulls back into herself. Now, there is something I need to ask of you all before we can begin this coup, and mid-sentence, you hear several footsteps outside. You hear Rollo give an undignified shriek as 4 men in black coats enter through the door. Kit, that's the face of John St. Elmo, the leader of the Summer Knights. He is an Italian man dressed in a Catholic priest's garb, a halo of St. Elmo's fire around his head. Well, didn't realize we were having meetings so early in the morning. Jenny begins to speak up, but he silences quick. Up. Not with that silver tongue of yours, ma'am. I want to hear from the kids. Such new arrivals to Miami. What are y'all doing? This is a social gathering? We weren't invited? Grandfather wasn't notified?
Discreetly, while he's doing his whole thing, the moment I've seen him, I've taken out like just a small compact, and I'm like just with my thumb quietly started putting insignias of Summer Court on my cheek. I wanted to use my mantle to immediately make myself recognizable as affiliated.
The room warms up a little bit, changing from Jenny's temperature. He gives you a crooked smile. Kit, I have to say I'm surprised to see you here in Jenny's company, considering her reputation, as it were.
Well, I figured if none of you were going to be invited and Grandfather wasn't going to be invited, I ought to make a presence for us, yes? Somebody ought to keep an eye on it. I'd hoped that you would have had the reputation to have been invited, but seems that Miss Jenny had preferences.
Make a manipulation and subterfuge roll, but add your mantle.
Absolutely. Actually, I was going to ask if I can just add the sweet talking specialty that I have on subterfuge as well.
I'm going to say this doesn't count as sweet talking because you're kind of begging for your life right now. He is one of Grandfather's right-hand man.
Okay.
Yes, Cheshire?
Cheshire will stand and bow to the summer knight that has come in. Oh, sorry, sir. Saint Elmo. Oh my. Someone of your repute coming down here for the meet and greet. I'm so impressed. It triggers my siren song merit, where as long as I'm talking, everyone else gets a -2.
Does that include me who is just rolling now?
It would be them, I believe.
Okay.
Enemies. You are counted as part of his motley. Elmo does not address you, Cheshire, but one of the men beside him, you quickly see past his mask. He is a hulking ogre. His head touches the ceiling. Gray and mottled skin, slightly rotting. This is not lifeless Ivan, the one who slew your court leader. This is one of his sons, or sons, you could say. Oi, what you mean by that? Meet and greet? I didn't know they're doing meet and greets nowadays. And the other one looks to him, green. What's the spell meet and greet? Grandfather would have organized it. He's the king. Well, no, maybe Jenny wanted to do something, and the two start to talk at each other.
Storyteller, I got 5 successes on that roll. I exploded twice.
Let me roll for a friend here. Okay, that's a 10. Ties go to the attacker.
Mm-hmm.
His face furrows. It's elegant, really, how he keeps anger contained. You know he has an explosive temper. But he takes a deep breath. A meet and greet, your friend said, right?
Absolutely. The whole point is to keep goodwill in the city. We'd like to keep things nice and temperate, wouldn't we?
Then you wouldn't mind me taking record of all of you being here then?
Please do.
We are, in fact, meeting and greeting.
I don't think that's such a bad idea. First, can I make you a drink? And Ripley will stand up and walk towards this guy.
I'm gay, first off. Secondly, give me a second. You notice, actually, let me rephrase that. As you approach him, Ripley, that hunter stance, you stalking towards your prey, deer-like as you may be, you feel his pulse just go up that littlest bit. Could you roll streetwise intelligence and add your mantle?
I would love to do that. Let me see.
You might have some tea on this man.
Hang on, to explode.
Explode dice are so fun.
Explodes again.
You'll need that, trust me.
6 successes.
That is more than enough to gain the knowledge that you do. Your friend Lily White works at one of your Queen, Duchess of Spring's many clubs. He is a frequent client of hers. He's got a soft spot for the Vichy Spring, as you're called. Even if Maria isn't the true queen, he still has a leniency towards you, if it's not for discounts on lap dances.
I make a mean gin martini if you'd like one. And I would like to use Cupid's Eye.
Remind me what Cupid's Eye does.
This clause takes the first step in fulfilling a person's desires or teasing him and stringing him along by revealing what those desires are. Prerequisite none, cost 1 glamour, dice pool, wits plus weird versus the subject's composure and weird.
Your difficulty level is 4.
2 successes, 1's exploding. Hold, please. That explodes again. That explodes again.
Taking it to my penthouse and freaking it, Your Honor.
So that's a total of 5?
You beat him. Easily. Maybe it's the fact that you've got antlers, like his favorite runner Swift. Maybe it's your big old doe eyes. But he says, hold the gin. Can't go drinking on the job, sweetness. What's your name?
You can call me Ripley.
Ripley. Vicious little name for a sweet thing like you. He towers over you. He stands at a 6'3" height. His ogres are still in a conversation discussing whether or not a meet and greet needs to be justified by grandfather before he snaps his fingers, a spark of flame coming from them. Enough you two. Just document names. I'm going to have a drink and find out what's going on here. Don't think I believe a word out of your mouth, Kitanari.
Well, that's for a grandfather to decide, ain't it?
You're correct. The King of Eternal Summer will decide, ultimately. But he's cordial enough if you invite him for a drink. Jenny, meanwhile, has sat on her chair, gripping the arms. Mara, if you look closely, you can see ice beginning to form at the edges. She is holding back.
What is the desire that I learned, by the way, before we move on? Because on a success, the changeling is one of the subject's desires. See the suggested modifiers list that follow for specific depths to which this power can plumb. Unless this is an exceptional success. Pure lust.
It is an exceptional success, pure lust, and particularly a romantic inclining for your friend Lily White. But he'll take you in this absence. He has a thing for horned women.
Mara is just, the entire time she's kind of been like just washing her manicured nails, kind of bored with the situation and just letting everyone do what they do. But she sits next to Jenny, and watching kind of like the frost spread from her fingers. She just takes her other hand and places it on top of Jenny, an icy comfort of sorts. That doesn't match the bored expression that Mara has, but just for flavor wise, she has been using her rigid mask, which merit, which allows her to hide her emotions very well, even from lie detectors and such. So she has had a very icy look on her face, very a perfect sculpture of boredom, as the kind of firelight just kind of flicks over her icy skin, with just a hand put over Jenny to very unlike her, a reassurance to Jenny.
For a Court of Sorrow, the look Jenny gives you is truly warm. The tension does not leave her face, but as you all mingle, Ripley appealing to Grandfather's base needs, as we'll call them, eventually he'll leave. Elmo gives you all a slight bow of his hat as he continues out before he says, "Grandfather will be informed of this.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
I appreciate the company, however. Miss Ripley, I'll be sure to mention you in high spirits." One of the ogres just shyly waves back at Ripley as well. He's a little awestruck. However, I am going to need you all to leave this premise immediately. There is a curfew to keep.
Oh, by all means.
We'll be right behind you.
Yes, in fact. Boys, would you mind escorting them through the hedge? Yes, sir. Immediately. And these big balls of meat are just on the side of you, practically herding you through the hedge.
May I just say my thanks and goodbye to Lady Jen before we go?
It'd be rude not to.
It is her duchy after all.
Hospitality and all that.
How could I forget? Foolish of me, truly. Say your goodbyes, but we must get going.
We'll meet you outside.
He stands, waiting.
I'll walk over to Jenny and just take her hand, if she'll allow it, and say, "Obviously you know how to contact me. Thank you very much for your hospitality, and please do know that I am immensely interested in everything that we've talked about today."
Jenny manages a small smile under her veil. Rollo will reach out to you tomorrow when things have cooled down.
Absolutely. And she hears the gentle uncocking of a gun now that the situation has been diffused from under his coat before he steps back.
There's just a little eyebrow tilt of Mara, like, okay.
As Cheshire is thanking Jenny, he licks his thumb and will just smudge his cell phone screen so he can activate his... I think it's the wrong foot where I don't leave any human traces inside of an area, as long as I smudge a mirror.
That works. It's a reflective surface. In fact, as the ogres are making sure that everyone has gotten out, they don't take you into account. It's as if you don't exist.
As you can see, I can move a little bit more freely than my peers. If you ever need me, send Rollo down to the... Do you know the tape store down on Main?
Oh yes, the one that sells the powder.
All the horror movies.
Yes.
You can find me there. Gentlemen, it seems you've forgotten something.
Was he always there? I don't know if he was always there. We don't want St. John finding out. Just keep going.
You strong lads look like you could use a stiff drink after work. And he will, just double hands on whatever small of the back that these ogres have, will usher them out as well.
It is just a solid thunk as you hit their backs. They are pure meat.
Cheshire looks up like, ooh.
Mara is going to kind of wait as people kind of empty out, and she is going to give Jenny a kiss on the cheek, the kiss kind of leaving an extra bit of frost on her veil, as she will whisper, "Jenny, darling, you know I'm always on your side."
Never bet against winter. We may be the silent arrow, but the silent arrow strikes when they least expect.
Exactly. And she'll, for the first time in the night, just give a small smile and give her hand a squeeze, and then continue on with the rest of the group.
As you turn away from Jenny, Mara, you notice, almost unconsciously, a frozen tear has leaked from your eye, stuck to your frozen face.
She reaches it up and just lets it sit there, as of an addition to an art piece. And continues. We kind of see a frosty residue as icy sculpting tools disappear from her hand as she had been ready for a fight.
Your summer guards pay you no mind. They lead you through the hedge, Rollo scampering ahead. He looks like a rat caught in a corner. Once you're all at the bar, St. John Elmo gives you once more a tip of his hat, tells you all to be aware of curfew, and bids you all good night. He has business to attend to in the morning.
Have a lovely night, my dear friend. And as he leaves the bar, just immediately lick the thumb and just wipe the adornment off the face, looking like a little disgusted that it had to grace his skin. Just
Mara's going to produce it's not a handkerchief, it's like a rag used to like wipe when you have paint on your hands or any other residue. She produces one and just hands it to Kit.
much obliged.
Not the best symbol to have on your face.
Nobody does the trick when hotheads like him show up, don't it?
And I very much appreciate it. What an interesting night, everyone.
Indeed. Well, I do have to say, if your dear friend Jenny is in want of what she is want of, I think she's picked quite the crowd to do it. We clearly all have some skill or another.
It seems so.
Well, is Rollo still with us, storyteller?
He has vanished. He has scampered like a rodent back into the shadows.
Well, what to first then, my dear friends? How are we going to set things in motion?
Well, you have been commanded to return to your places of living by summer, and Jenny did mention to one of your friends that Rollo will contact you, but I don't think he shared that with the party yet.
Mm-hmm. I would assume that we will be contacted again some way or shape or form, not sure when or how. But Jenny's good at what she does.
No, Rollo will contact us. I was told as much, but I was just curious if we had any opening thoughts before we all have to go our separate ways for the evening.
I was just gonna go home. Probably queue up something fun.
We could spend the evening together.
In what capacity?
What are the options?
Do you like scary movies?
I've been in a few.
Oh yeah, Slumber Party Massacre 8.
Oh my god.
I mean, what model hasn't been used in like a slasher fic
As a
here and there, you know? Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ripley is certainly a scream queen. She's got the chops for it. Cheshire, do you have a car? Do you call a ride service to get you and your friends to your little abode for the night?
Uber.
I wouldn't mind all of us getting to know each other and our strengths, maybe our weaknesses.
Agreed. Cheshire, would you mind lending me your address? I can meet you there. I've got other transportation, if anybody else would like to come along.
Somewhere you can hear the distant whinny of a horse. It's almost theatrical.
I wouldn't mind.
By all means.
When should I be expecting you?
Depends on how far away you are.
You'll give the address. Video store, like, probably a mile or two away.
If we leave now, then I'll meet you there.
Still got 20 minutes for Hassan to pick me up. Or 2 minutes.
I'll definitely meet you there then.
What about you, Miss Ripley?
I can ride with you.
Well, my frosty dear, shall we?
We shall. You know what they say, save a horse, ride a cowboy, or something like that?
Well, we'll ride the horse first, and we'll get to the second part later.
She'll kind of like just take his arm.
He will lead her outside where there's a rather large black and white speckled horse that has been tied to the side of the building. And hanging on the side is actually, because he's run into this before, a copy of the local legislature that decrees that horse riding on the streets of Miami is sanctioned so long as you have a permit for it.
Yeah. Mara's definitely going to admire this big, beautiful horse. And give him a few scratches.
Mounting up, he'll reach down just a hand to help Mara up. Chat with him.
We shall. She'll take it and just hop on behind him and do the little backpack hold.
Well, that's one
Which
way
is
to
good
ride
because
there.
we are absolutely going to beat the other two there, even if the car showed up right now.
Hedge touch steeds have a tendency to be unnaturally quick. In a moment, you blink through the hedge that slowly surrounds you all. And you're in front of a dusty old not TV store. A dusty old VHS store. Just as a car is pulling in with your other friends who took a more conventional ride.
Since Mara rode with me, in that brief moment in the hedge, that black and white speckled horse shifted into a thorny and kelpy looking steed.
I love it.
As we show up, like, the back of your legs feels just like slightly colder as any water from the horse has frozen onto you, I imagine.
Yeah. Kit definitely feels like there's definitely some frost on his jacket as his back has been kept cold as Mara just kind of held on as soon as the horse took off.
Yeah, we'll step out. He'll step down and help Mara down as the Uber arrives simultaneously.
Cheshire, your Uber driver just... Are you seeing that? They filming John Wayne or something here?
It's the new John Wick, don't worry about it.
Oh. Figure, John Wayne, John Wick.
During the entirety of the car ride, Cheshire has presented himself as this chatterbox, this, like, incompetent person. Ripley has seen the mask drop, go into full business mode. A BlackBerry is pulled out of a jacket pocket and just click, 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 furious typing. They pull up to the video store and Cheshire just breaks the BlackBerry in his hands, and as he steps out, just shoves the pieces under the car.
Leave no trace.
You'd do better to put it in a microwave.
True. Oh, we'll reach back under, take the SIM chip out. Good idea.
So that's how you're making your popcorn for movie night. Inspired. As our unlikely motley gathers itself, huddling in for a movie night, awaiting a call from a coup that seems to be standing on melting ice. We're going to cut to break, let our players recuperate, and we'll be right back with the second half and the conclusion of our story, Your Heart of Ice. Welcome back. Last we left our changelings, they were all cuddled into a VHS store watching some good, bloody, wholesome, family-friendly horror. What was it? Sleepover Party 8? Something like that?
It's the one I'm fully nude in.
Slumber Party Massacre 8.
Of course. I'm
This
not
is the
a
one
scholar
with
of these
the
things.
bassist instead of the guitarist.
Gotcha.
I'm the tambourine player.
Of course you were, Ripley. You like shaking things, don't you? The night passes peacefully enough. Admittedly, there's that looming anxiety that the summer night just might bust down your door and accuse you of treason if had your head sent off to grandfather immediately. But no, you just spend the night watching B-grade horror movies. It's almost normal. Like you're mortal again. Before you got dragged into all this mess. Before you ended up in Miami. I have to say, having this little mundane moment, does it stir any memories for you of life before, during, after?
I think for Mara, it definitely does. Her mind kind of harkens back to her days in art school. Late night, pulling all-nighters to make sure that her project or her final, it's up to par with her teachers. Putting movies, horror movies, any type of movie, podcasts, audiobooks in the background to keep her company in the night. And it reminds her of, like, after finals, her and her friends would go out, have a hangout at one of their places, drink, smoke, have fun, to kind of relax after the finals. And for a moment, we kind of see the same scene kind of flash, but it's a different couch, different place, different eras. You see Mara in a similar outfit, but her skin is a bit more tan. Hair is dark brown. There's actual irises and pupils in her eyes, and she has a lively flush to her as she drinks and laughs at a comedy movie, a very horrible. It's supposed to be a very serious movie, but it is a movie that's so bad it's good.
Oh yeah, it's like Baby Killer 7, and they have the prop baby flying around on a fishing hook.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just kind of waving around like a flag. And then we kind of flash back to this more dark VHS store. Sitting, the room is slightly colder with her in it. Her facial features, instead of a smiling and laughing, it is now kind of very stoic. Again, very pale, white hair, white skin, glossed over, icy eyes. So it's kind of like quite the opposite, even though it's the same situation.
Art reflects life. Isn't that what he always said to you, Mara?
Yeah. It was.
For Cheshire, it is the memory of long nights at the office, sitting at the coffee table that is currently in front of them, just staring at the TV, slurping down some ramen before he had to go to sleep to get up for work the next day. And it's just the monotony of that over and over again, but there's just horror movie after horror movie showing on screen in rapid succession.
Yeah, but
As,
it was
like,
your
the-
monotony, wasn't it?
It was
It
my
was
monotony.
your choice. Before she came, told you how it was supposed to be, how orderly it was. Wouldn't it just be so easy to go back to that? You're running for your life, Cheshire? You really think this coup's gonna work out? Sweetness, why don't you just come home? The homestead needs you. You can almost feel her fingers of running across your back.
the fingers run up his back and kind of caress his face, and I guess at this moment he kind of like leans his head to the side. Yeah, but you know I'm much more useful out here.
You can feel her frowning at you somewhere. Still secluded in her little homestead, her tower. But she's not here. And you're alive. Somewhat.
Kit had a bit of a different history. He let himself fall a lot more into the life of the Kithane earlier on, so his memories aren't so much of a mundane life. It's more of a life back when there was dreaming to be had. All of the liveliness and happiness and whatnot.
Flashes of a court, bright red colors, courtly love, all that wonderful mushy gushy stuff. Down the drain.
Time before the scarring and the running.
Time before the hunt. You think you're always gonna run, Kit?
Been doing it for as long as I can remember.
Prey animals can't run their entire lives. You know what they say about foxhole atheists, don't you?
How many foxes are in the foxholes, though?
Just you.
Just me.
I think for Ripley, because one of her flaws is forgetful, I think her memory is so shredded after her time being bounced between two separate courts and used as their pawn that she can't remember what humanity was and what her human life was. But sitting with the other three reminds her that she's forgotten what safety feels like.
Stability.
Yeah, and she's experiencing it now, and it's a bit unsettling for her.
You're not on the back of a horse, nor are you running as the quarry. It's strange, Ripley. You're not the prey here. You're not the idol to be captured, taken, ravaged. You're just here. I can see why you're unsettled. The hunt never stops. I imagine you spend the rest of the day holed up. After all, you don't want to invoke the wrath of Grandfather. But Cheshire, have you been checking your phone?
Not the burner one. No, he has not. He has been making sure that the wards in his hollow are staying in place so there's no one dropping in unexpectedly. He's making sure his guests are fed with snacks and beverages. Flicks another cigarette over to Kit and points to a window, like, just make sure you crack that open if you're gonna go. This one smells distinctly of Silvervine.
I see. Kit, do you follow his order? Smoke at the window?
I definitely cracked the window.
As you do, a hand black as slate grips the still. Don't close it! Don't close it! Give me just a second! A little creature pops her head above the window. Dark black hair covering her entire body. Pair of little horns. Bright cat-like eyes that match Cheshire's. She looks at you confused. You're not Cheshire.
And looking at me, she looks immediately down at the barrel of a gun that went up the moment that some strange thing came up into my view. Went, no, I'm not.
You're not going to shoot that.
Give me a reason not to.
Because I'm a friend? Cheshire? Are you in there? Hello?
From out of the corner, there is a head that pops backwards, sunglasses still on, raises. Oh! Hello!
It's me, Ophira. From... I have been texting you for like 5 hours. I thought you might have like gotten lost in the hedge. Yeah, you open your phone. There are 15 missed calls.
We good, friend?
Yeah, I'm good. You could let her in.
Yeah, gun immediately down and window pushed all the way open and more of a grand sweeping like Please, come on in.
A little gargoyle-like creature crawls in through the window, sliding back her wings. She looks at you all a bit confused. Was I supposed to come later? Is this like a thing?
Yes, you've interrupted our little party of... No. Sorry, I've been busy with some stuff. How can I help you?
It's Nama. She wants to see you. Like right now.
Okay, emergency or...
She's angry. Like really angry. I haven't seen her this angry since that whole debate happened about artistic interpretation. Yeah, you need to come like right now. I can fly us, but...
How angry is she?
Enough to take it up with Grandfather Thunder.
You see Cheshire open up a cabinet, reach over, grab some wine, thinks about it, grabs another bottle of wine. Make yourselves at home. I should be back in the morning.
If you come back with a head, that is. Jeez. She gives you her hand, and if you take it, she'll take you for a night flight over to the University of Miami.
Oh, yeah. I think aesthetically, it is him gripping onto one of the leg talons, like a parasol, essentially, and they'll just glide all the way there.
Absolutely. As you watch your friend being whisked away through the window, Kit, your phone buzzes in your pocket.
See it. Pull it out.
Hey. This Kit?
Hmm?
It's Roll.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, sorry I can't show up there personally. There have been nights surrounding this place since dawn. All right. So there's a guy you need to look for. His name is Eyeless. No, it's not Eyeless. They all don't have eyes. No, you hear him hide into an alley, and the voices of several, including the man that just confronted you in Jenny's home. All right, there's a guy. His name's Quiet Luke.
Slowly and calmly. Slowly and calmly.
I'm trying. I'm just saying St. John is out there with his boys, and I do not...
Hey, we're just having a conversation. Slowly and calmly.
A conversation. You're right.
Who am I looking for?
His name's Silent Luke. He's a part of John's motley. Summer night, but all in but name. I don't know his address, but he has something that's important to Jenny. Something that we need if we're going to kick this coup off right.
All right. Silent Luke. He's in the 9th. Does that mean he's out on patrol?
No, I actually don't know where he is, and that's why I was trying to get to you, because I figure you might know, and that the real pretty lady. Spring courtiers know everybody.
All right. I will run it back. We're waiting on one of ours to come back from a meeting, but we will look into Silent Luke and see what we can find. Is he the one that's going to help us kick all this stuff off?
Okay. Before you hang up, no, he's... Do not want to... Don't bash his head and don't shoot him. Don't do anything like that. We need to do this subtly.
Mm-hmm.
But before I hang up, because, oh my god, they're going to find me. I think they got hounds.
Hey.
Kid, is everything okay?
Everything's fine, darling. Just a moment.
I need you to promise me that you're not going to open the book. There's a book you're looking for. Little pink diary. Lock on it, shaped like a heart.
Those in the house see, Kit just, rub the bridge with his nose and go, gotta admit, I wish you hadn't told me about it.
Just promise me, okay? I'm not even making an oath. I just need you to know that all of Miami's future lays in this. Please.
Storyteller, I have to make a roll.
Absolutely. You try and tell if he's lying or not?
No, I have to make a roll to resist curiosity.
Your fatal flaw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
It says a wits roll. Is it flat wits?
Flat wits.
All right, there's a high chance I'm gonna fail this.
You need just one success.
It says I need a wits roll of 5 to resist.
Let's roll a 5. Okay, we converted that from Changeling 20. Because of that, like 5 equivalent to 1 success in this game, so.
Gotcha. Oh, I got exactly 1.
Kit, you want to find out about this man, his connection to the Knights, that diary. But you also know you need to handle this subtly.
With a very, very controlled breath. Yeah. I promise you, I will not be opening that book.
Thank you. And immediately he hangs up.
Ripley, darling.
Hmm?
You happen to have crossed paths at any point in time with a gent by the name of Silent Luke?
Ripley pulls out a little black moleskin notebook from her back pocket and starts flipping through it. Have I crossed paths with this person, storyteller?
You haven't, but your friend has. One of the Spring Court's main exports is flesh and pleasure. She works at a strip club, places where the summer court happen to, let's say, frequent. They frequent it a lot.
No, but I know a stripper who knows them.
Perfect. That was Rolo on the phone. Apparently, old Luke is somebody of interest that we need to procure.
Is Rolo okay?
Rolo's about to have a conniption fit, but he'll be all right.
Okay. Should we wait for Cheshire?
Storyteller Cheshire said he'll be back in the morning. Rolo said they've been out since dawn. What does our time frame look like?
Right now it's about 8 a.m. It's pretty early.
Okay.
But from how frantic Rolo sounded, you might want to handle this quickly. And court proceedings within the Autumn Court, those can take a while. You won't even know if Cheshire's going to come back alive.
I'm going to grab paper and I'm going to write gone to, what's the name of the place? Ripley?
What is the name of the place, storyteller?
Pearls Before Swine.
Pearls Before Swine.
On to Pearls Before Swine. Meet you there. Bring cash. And I'll just slap it onto the TV, letting like the static from the TV just hold it. Go. He can meet us.
Why
Okay.
exactly are we looking for this gentleman?
Well, apparently he's key to the whole thing. So we ought to do a quick catch.
All right.
So, what's the first option?
Well, if you tell me how to get there, I can give us a ride over pretty quick. And maybe we can chat with your friend, see where to go from there.
All right.
Wonderful.
Can we all fit on your pony?
I can fit plenty, people.
Good.
Come on in, and I will lead outside.
As you saddle up in the parking lot, let's cut to Cheshire. Your winged friend is frantic and quick, and before the sun can harm her shadowy features, you've landed in front of Miami University. There's a rather dour-looking gentleman standing at the door. He looks like a cross between a fish and a particularly hopeful rugby player.
How bad is it?
She's broken a desk.
He hands a bottle of wine to them. That is an apology for dealing with that in my absence.
Thank you. I would like to return to the libraries now. And he waddles off. He does point you towards the Eastern tea rooms. It's a nice sunny area where students usually study, but Nama has reserved this purely to tear you a new one, it seems.
With all the confidence of a white boy in a club, he is striding up to that spot.
As you open the grand oak door, you see the tall, imposing, black-haired, shadowy figure that is Nama, Queen of Autumn, banished Queen of Autumn since she refused to bow to Grandfather Thunder. You come in the middle of a tirade as she's yelling at some other poor courtier, explaining, "And he didn't inform me, could you believe—" Cheshire, sit. She looks at you over her rounded glasses. You can't even see her eyes, but you know that they are as black as ink. She is furious.
All right. Apologetically looks over to the changeling that is getting chewed out on his behalf and will sit at the desk.
So, Cheshire, I heard an interesting rumor this morning as this nervous changeling begins to pour you both oolong tea.
Oh, what would that be?
Meeting with a winter courtier, a little thief of knowledge, without informing her queen, and associating with a knight of summer. She lifts her teacup to her mouth, but you can see her hand is trembling with rage.
I was merely curious as to the meeting nature.
Is that so?
More or less, yes.
Did you forget what they did to my predecessor?
He looks over to her coolly. I wish I could. I still have nightmares about it.
You recall the murder of Tom Hood quite vividly. Deathless Ivan taking his head as a trophy, still wearing it to this day. So no wonder that Nama is so incensed. But she closes her spidery, spindly fingers and looks down at you. She is massively tall. Think of the other mother from Coraline if an image comes to mind. She's your queen, don't you dare.
She can be my queen.
She purses her lips and looks at you a bit softer. Is there anything you learned?
Apparently Grandfather has eyes everywhere.
Common
Especially in the duchy of, especially in Jenny's duchy.
Jenny? I didn't know that old hag was wandering about. I figured her and her little icebound heart duchy would just stay in North Miami where they belong.
No, apparently. And he begins gossiping. Apparently, they want to stage a coup.
Her eyebrows raise.
And I figured it would be a good shot to have someone on the inside. Say you have nothing to do with me, I can work solo to try and spread a little seeds of chaos as Jenny does a bit of disposition for our current tyrant.
She nods. You remembered her oath of good neighbors with the King of Summer. She can't act against him even as she wanted to, and she so dearly wants to.
Though, to make it so that it does not implicate you, my lady, you will need to have something formally written if I'm ever discovered.
Of course. In fact, she reaches a spidery hand across the table, takes your hand in hers. Here is my official decree, Cheshire. I want you to shut that lying mouth of yours and continue to spread rumors of a serial killer on campus so that we might harvest the fear. Am I clear?
He brings her hand up to his lips and kisses it. All for you, my lady.
Good. Then you'll drop this coup attempt and continue working for the goodness of the Autumn Court. Vladimir has found use for you, Cheshire, but do not think yourself so cunning that you stand above our gained knowledge.
He will wait for her to take her hand away before sitting back down and... Well, by your leave then, my lady.
You're dismissed.
Straightens his blazer, will gently push the bottle of wine forward and turn on his heels to head on outside.
As you turn around, you can just hear the thrumming of her nails on the table. You've earned her suspicion. Not wise for a member of the court of many secrets.
Thusly, he gets to work while everyone is out. He has done this before. It is not the most complicated of tasks, but he finds someone walking alone in the in like the commons, and he's essentially smoking, wisp up next to them and begin whispering in their ear this threat of a serial killer, that a body was found not too long ago, blah 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 blah. Just latching onto this person. If someone walks by, it looks like they're making out, but he is just filling their head with fear.
You don't even have to roll for that. It's a college student. He's probably high, drunk, or both. At the University of Miami, of all places. Your whisperings of another Ted Bundy send him on edge. He looks at his cigarette, looks at you, and wobbles nervously down the hallway, hand on the wall.
They say that he wears a Hawaiian shirt and blazer.
Oh! Dude, don't harsh my mellow like that.
There is no Cheshire in the hallway. He has smoked his way out of this place.
I'll leave you to discover the note back home, unless your friends have texted you. But now...
Yeah, I was wondering why no one texted me.
I don't have your
You have
number.
the phone.
We didn't exchange numbers, did we?
I would hope
I
during
saw you destroy
sleepover.
one. Yeah.
I would hope, yeah.
I do not
we're not
exchange
working
numbers during sleepovers.
Okay, then if we off-screen exchanged phone numbers, Ripley would have texted you.
Fair. I still left the note anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. He makes his way to Pearls Before Swine.
I think Cheshire arrives there just as all of you are waiting in line. It's golf season, so you are waiting behind a gaggle of old white men. You're at the height of the season.
When love runs high, huh? To the
You're
top of
telling
the-
me, kiddo, with some random old gent just shoulders you as you get in line.
You two wait here. Come with me, Mara. We'll see you inside.
Because if there's one thing I know about strip clubs, it's that they let women in before they let men in. So I'm going to take Mara by the hand and go to the front of the line. And I'm going to get in before all of these white men.
You see a few grumbles, a few ogling stares as this unusual pair walks up the line. The bouncer, a minotaur-looking gentleman, a big old beast with hairy shoulders and horns protruding from his brows, looks at you both. Hey, Ripley. Been a minute.
Hi. Is the ladies' night special on?
Always for you, sugar.
Thank
You
you.
looking for someone today? Or are you looking to dance?
Just looking for a friend. I might look for you later.
And she's going to reach up and boop them on their nose.
Ooh, that's nude.
He just lets a bunch of steam blow out of his nose, and he unclips the chain and lets you all through. They're playing oldies. They're appealing to the older crowd. You can scan the bar. Perception is a skill I would recommend here. You can see if you can find your friend, or just any of the other girls working. But you know for sure Lily has been in contact with him.
Let's see. That would be, what am I rolling?
You would be rolling, let me see here, wits and not streetwise. I hate that the book keeps recommending streetwise. I would say...
Could I roll wits and socialize and add one because I have party girl, so I've probably partied here quite a bit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Roll with a bonus as well.
What do I do for a bonus?
Add a die.
Add another. Okay. Oh, this is. Oh, that one's gone forever.
It's vanished. Anything you're doing, Mara?
I would like to see if I can get, because I have a specialty in a cult called local folklore. I would like to see what I can get of what I know of this place. That's not obvious already. Yeah.
Roll your occult intelligence. Ripley, what did you roll?
I rolled 8 dice and I only got 2 successes.
That's Chronicles of Darkness for you. That is enough to spot among the crowd a pair of horns like your own. Lily is busy talking with patrons. She's wearing a... Wait a minute. That's your cute little dress. She's wearing your little black dress. She stole that from you last time she stayed over.
She's
Why is it
over
even
here,
her
Mara.
color? Mara, what did you roll?
What's the target number?
No target number.
2, a 3, a 9, and a 6. I don't know what that means.
That's one success. You can recall that this area is known for its ghosts, particularly the Scarlet Lady, who is seen to walk the balconies of the non-refurbished places.
Ooh. Okay.
I'm just dragging Mara by the hand.
Oh yeah, through this seething, sweaty crowd.
Everyone feels a little cool rush of air as she passes through.
Lily is busy talking with an older gentleman. She's already got a wad of bills in her hand before she turns around. Give me just a second, sweet... Ripley! I wasn't expecting to see you around these parts, and you brought a friend?
I can tell you weren't. You probably would have stuff to fill it out more. We need to talk.
The moment you accuse her of stuffing, her client turns the other way and starts walking. I was gonna make rent tonight. Look, I needed the dress, everything was in the laundromat. You know how expensive it is. I can't get my hands on quarters.
You could have just asked.
Yeah, but you were doing something with that big guy.
You could have joined.
I would have suggested a different dress. Black is not your color, my dear.
It isn't. She is a piebald white-tailed deer. She's got hooves and antlers and splotches of white all over her body, and it really is not her color.
Come here.
She comes to you grumpily.
Ripley's actually going to take her into the ladies' room and swap dresses with her. So that she is wearing Ripley's pink dress and Ripley is now wearing the black dress. And Ripley will, it ties down the sides, kind of like it has like those little like chain ties on the sides. So Ripley will break the chain and refashion it so it fits Lily perfectly.
There you go. Trust me, you'll make your money in that.
Thanks. So what'd you come here for? What, you want to share a shift?
No, we're looking for someone. Kit knows who it is, but he's still in line.
I believe their name was Silent. What was the other name?
His name was Silent. God, I don't even... There's so many I names. Give me just a
That's
second.
okay, Kit. That's okay, Kit knows it.
He's now
Well,
named
he's-
Bob.
No, I know Kit mentioned it, so because he asked Ripley.
Whatever his name is. Isaac, that was his name.
Silent
You-
Isaac.
It was Silent Luke.
Silent Luke.
Luke. See, I can't even remember. You watch as Lily, makes her way through the seething crowd. Kit and Cheshire. This bouncer's not letting you in. He's demanding a 300 fee to enter. They're full tonight.
How much?
$300. He charges extra for changelings because of course you're gonna sap some emotion from there, and that takes away from the girls' clientele. And
I'm going to bank on something, and the thing I'm going to bank on is that when Ripley dragged Mara up there, the bouncer was completely focused on Ripley like I've seen everybody else do. So I'm going to excuse myself, and I'm going to use my mirror contract to make myself look like Mara.
You excuse yourself. And thankfully, it's just Lily who comes up and says, Hey, Benny, look, I know we got that whole policy going. They're friends. They're here to help me with something real important. I need them up in VIP real quick. She sees Kit come out, looking like the mirror image of Mara. Where are you? You just come in here, you two. We'll be in the VIP section.
As Cheshire walks by, he slips 100 into like the breast pocket of this guy and just taps it as he walks past.
He snorts.
I can respect it.
Being accompanied in, I'll just immediately shake off the look of Mara and go, oh, if I knew we were going to be having a guest accompaniment, I would have saved that.
What are you doing in my club? She immediately steps in front of you and crosses her arms.
Well, you just invited me in, didn't you?
Yes, because
VIP
I thought
and
you
all?
were that other. You know, this is Ripley, so I'll let you in. But if I see your rotten little snout around here next time, I'm gonna have a fox skin rug.
Oh, where would you like to see my snout then?
She just turns away and goes to find Ripley.
That thread isn't extended to me, is it?
Only if you're with me.
Don't test me, Kit. I'll have Benny throw you both out on your rears.
I didn't even do anything. What?
Like we said earlier, my reputation precedes me in places.
I figure now I'm not going to stand next to you in case I get thrown out by association.
Oh no, we're here with Ripley. We'll be perfectly fine.
Ripley and Mara just have a really expensive bottle of champagne in the VIP area.
Oh, absolutely. She leads the boys up these, spotlit stairs and looks you all. You said something with the summer court? What about it?
We are supposed to be finding one Silent Luke. Was to retrieve him.
Luke? Now that's a name I haven't heard in a bit.
I was hoping you had, though.
But last time he came, he was all sad. Didn't he want to dance? He just wanted to sit and cry. He was real upset about something. They said they had to stay in his apartment and guard something.
I'm sad I missed that then.
Do you know where
Perhaps
he
we
lives?
can cheer him up.
Oh,
Oh
don't.
yeah, I've got his address. I've been hoping he was going to make home calls, but he's been so wrapped up. You hear about that stuff that happened at Kim's? They had hounds sniffing around in summer nights.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he lives on 1812 Palm Boulevard, apartment 12, second floor.
Apartment 12.
And tell him to visit me. He still owes me.
Be sure to pass the message along, dear Lily.
Kit and Ari, I might be able to tolerate you.
Someone has to.
I'd sure hope you could do more than tolerate me at some point.
Right, all you shoot. It's about to be happy hour. I need the space.
Absolutely.
Do I know anything about Silent Luke?
Luke is of the summer court, but you're certainly welcome to make a roll.
I'm just saying secrets are my specialty as the winter court. What would I roll?
In this case, if you're trying to figure out what you know about Luke, just personally, that would be a politics and intelligence roll.
Can I argue occult again? Local folklore? Or is he like a not well known person, or?
He is not. He
Okay.
is the bookmark of the summer nights.
I got 2 dice.
He's a rounding error for the summer nights.
8 and a 10.
8 and a 10.
Sorry,
That's
an
2
8 and a 9.
successes.
Sorry.
Hey, that's 2 successes. What you garner is that it's a little weird that he got into the summer court, considering that they require a test of prowess. He is a very weak-willed and weak-bodied man. But he has been shut up in his apartment for weeks, according to Lily, and now he's guarding something.
Once we're out of the club, Do we know what he's guarding?
Then did Kit tell you about the notebook?
I am just now
Okay.
a book that we're supposed to retrieve, unopened, mind you, which would be quite the feat for me, but I made a word.
What's in the book?
Well, see, I made the word that I wasn't going to open the book, so I'm unable to tell you at this point in time.
Oh.
For what it's worth, I made the word, but he did sound very particular that it should stay that way.
If my sources are correct, it shouldn't be too hard to get to this man. He is very weak-willed.
Hmm.
I'm still unsure how he made it to his own court.
Nepotism, I imagine.
Possibly.
Maybe.
But if he is sad and lonely, let's keep it that way. I am hungry tonight.
Well, we can't keep him too lonely. We got to visit and all, but sad, I think we can work out. Cheshire, my dear friend, would you mind calling a ride for yours? Mine had to take off, but I point back and my horse is not there. Because I imagine it's been about 24 hours at this point.
Absolutely.
Cheshire holds up a finger, goes to his phone, and changes credit card information. So he types in Mara's credit card.
My credit card.
No, not Mara's credit card. The credit card Rolo gave him.
Jenny's.
Okay.
Jenny's credit card.
Yeah. I'm like, how did you get my credit card?
The other winter one.
This is, of course, a work expense, and we can flavor it as such. 5 minutes.
All in the name of rebellion, right?
I will wait, and while I'm sitting out there, I actually am going to pull out my phone and text Lily because I know she'll see it way after the shift. Just with a quick message of, do tell me where you would like my snout sometime. Send.
Kate, you sure like playing on the edge of danger, don't you? But your Uber arrives quickly. Your ride drops you off. The apartment isn't even gated. It's one of those little places that looks like it's been converted out of a motel. And the number 12 shines brightly on the right side of the building. However, as you look around the parking lot, I'm going to say Kit and Ripley, both with your hunting experience, there are a few more cars around than usual. Nicer cars than should be at an apartment like this.
That looks concerning. I'll point out each nice car.
Do you think they're inside or outside?
I'm going to bank on inside because we haven't had them come up to us just yet, but could go either way.
I could try and get a look in. Is this apartment like first, second, third floor? Like how high is it?
Second
It's
floor.
about 2 floors.
Okay. Does it have a balcony?
It does not. It's got a railing walkway where you would head to the stairs, and that's about it. It's pretty lackluster.
I can get in, no problem.
The problem's not getting in. But I could take a peek, see what I can see through the windows before we head in.
Mara's right. Getting in is not so much the concern as knowing whether or not we should be getting in just yet.
May I, instead of taking the railing, would I be able to determine what like backside windows this apartment has, and maybe take like a fire escape?
It is, again, such a cheap apartment. It does not have a fire escape. This place probably doesn't meet OSHA.
I will climb the wall if I have to. The second floor.
There's a set of stairs. There's a rail. This place is about as cheap as you can get. A little shocking for someone as a member
I'll
of
make
the
my
summer
way
court.
up stealthily.
Do you leave the car?
Yeah, but she is going to leave the car. Instead of like that big open door sound and everything, she's going to try and as quietly as possible and stick to the like the darker sides of the streets.
All right, Dex and Stealth.
Ooh, I'm good at those. Ooh, I'm very good at those. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7.
Also, will say to the other members of the Motley, you do not have to wait in the car. If you want to and exit as well, you can also attempt this in a social way. Like maybe you're just going to a different apartment.
4 10s and then a 3. 4 10s and then a 3.
You know, we're just gonna say that you do it really well. Mara, describe for me what it looks like, as I'm gonna say you also implement your mantle here, that ice. What does it look like as you exit the car without even opening the doors?
I think she harkens back to her time in her captor's domain, where she could change shape depending on what was needed. The car kind of cools down a bit and she disappears into frost and appears outside of the car a few feet behind into a shadowy like part of this parking lot. And much like a silent arrow or a quiet snowfall, she makes her way up the stairs. Despite the starkness of her skin and the darkness, it blends in almost like a bright shadow as she slinks her way up the staircases. And again, as almost frost sticking to window, she finds the right apartment. And you see the window itself at the edges start frosting up just slightly, not enough for people to notice, as she takes a look inside.
You peep inside the window. It's a bachelor pad, all right. There's a mattress on the floor, a PlayStation in a corner. You think you can see a lean cuisine on a counter somewhere? But you don't see Luke anywhere, nor a diary.
Can I skip, like, have almost this frost, like almost like a sparkle of snow, just skip through windows and see through different apartments as well?
All right, so
Just
that
for
is going
signs
to
of
be
life, or of anyone waiting in an empty apartment.
I'm going to say just because you did so well in that last roll, you can do that.
Okay.
You do. In fact, he is in the kitchen. He's just out of sight, just beyond a little cardboard wall.
She will then make her way back. Does he look like he's alone, or is there anybody else?
Doesn't look like there's anyone in the apartment, to your knowledge.
She will slink her way back and appear back inside the car. He's in there, sad and pathetic. No signs of any book or anything yet, but he's in his little kitchen. No one else inside.
They're about somewhere, that's for certain.
Are we taking this forcefully, or...
He was non-specific as to the methods. All he asked is that we don't take his life.
I could distract him.
You certainly are distracting.
Easy on the eyes, though. I can try to attempt to track down our wayward guards, if there are any around here.
There will be. I'm sure of it.
As long as you don't draw attention to yourself with it.
Certainly. If you're attempting to stealth out and scout, make that same roll that Satan did, which is going to be Dex and Stealth. And for Ripley, I will have you roll Subterfuge and Charisma. Not Charisma, Composure.
How long was Mara away?
Mara was away. All this happened in about a second. Ice creeping from the car right back. It's eerie.
There is a 15-minute stint where Cheshire just disappears somewhere and comes back with a box of pizza.
Is this roll to get me to the front door, or is this after I knock on the front door? This is going to determine what would happen, because I have a move.
This is to get you to the front door.
To get me front door? Okay.
Explode on
Explode.
nines. Explode on
Cheshire,
nines.
remember in daylight, you receive a 2+ penalty as a darkling.
Yep.
I have 3 successes.
3 successes for Cheshire.
3 successes for you both. So that is enough to get you up to the front door. You know, Ripley, you're doing it. Usually you're like the girlfriend coming to visit your kind of loser boyfriend who is way, way below your league at his crappy bachelor pad. It doesn't do anything to draw attention. Now, Cheshire, as you're slinking about in the shadows, avoiding that burning noon sun, you notice in one of the cars the hulking figure of one of the ogres that happened to be at your hollow the other night. Or rather, Jenny's hollow. Do you want to get closer?
At this point, I would hope that everyone has exchanged numbers, and Cheshire will text Kit one big one so far.
He'll just hold the phone over to Mara to show.
Do we want to try and take them out?
I'm going to send a skull question mark back.
As you get that little skull check mark, like question mark thing, you see the slow rising of the ogre's chest up and down, up and down. As you get even closer, you hear thunderous snoring. He's asleep. He fell asleep on his watch. Ripley, you're at the door. What are you doing?
She's going to knock. Does anyone come to the door?
You can hear oh my god, and like several things falling in the apartment. For a young man wrapped up in a ratty looking robe comes to you. He is pale, he is sallow, his thin brown hair is slicked back with shower water. Can I help you?
Hi. Lily was concerned about you and thought you might need someone to talk to.
And I want to use
Lily?
growth of ivy on this person. So it's my manipulation persuasion plus my mantle minus the subject's resolve. And I'm going to try and direct their desire. I'm going to try and get this person into a bedroom with me so that the others can come in and steal this diary.
Subtract 2 die from that roll. That's his resolve. The difficulty level you're looking at is 3.
Can I, as Ripley is doing this, can I try and sneak in my little frost form through the door as he opens it?
4
Absolutely.
successes.
4
Sorry,
successes.
5 successes.
5. The moment you mentioned...
I have all these dice and one exploded. It was wonderful.
Wonderful. Ripley, his eyes widen. Lily mentioned me?
Yeah.
Can you I know this is like a big favor and I don't really have money. It's been really hard, you know, like Thunder's been wanting me to stay in here.
I'm not looking for payment. You just sounded sweet.
You really think so?
Yeah.
Do you like want to watch me play God of War? I just bought it.
I would love to. Can you explain it to me?
He looks like you just asked him to marry him. He takes your hand and leads you into his bachelor pad. Amara, make a stealth and dex roll again. Difficulty 5. Add your mantle.
My mantle, what's my mantle? A 2?
3.
3? So do I add an extra 3 die? I don't understand how this works yet.
Add 3 die. So when you're adding your mantle, you add the amount of dots that you have.
I have a lot. I'm rolling 10 dice just in case. Okay, so I have 3 10s, so that's 2. And 9, 3 10s, a 9, which is 4, and then 2 8s, which is 6.
That succeeds. It is ridiculously easy. He is enraptured telling Ripley, yeah, So, the creator is saying that they softened him for this version. I really like that they focused on his mental health in this version. Like, you know, and yeah. Also, you smell really nice. And Mara,
Thank you.
this little fog of ice slips by. And as you're slipping by, because of those many 10s that you rolled, you see tucked into the back of that little robe of his is a diary. Bright pink, gold block, shape of a heart.
Can I try and just pluck it?
Same roll as before. Subtract your mantle, so don't roll with those additional mantle die. Difficulty 6.
Okay.
Can I see her trying to do this over his shoulder?
I think you feel chill.
Yeah, a little white hen, like forming out of a little frosty bit behind him.
Oh yeah, like a mage hand. Like
yeah,
you just
yeah.
see like
Ripley's going to try and help distract a little bit further and just lean in, and just because I think it would be really funny based on the wording of this ability, I want to use Gift of Warm Breath. The character's power rejuvenates a single living target, filling the target with energy and vigorous life. So I am going to use those last 2 words to try and dial things up emotionally for him a little bit, if that's cool with you.
go right ahead. I am loving this.
A 10 explodes. So that'll be 3 total.
You got so lucky. He rolled all 1s.
Ah.
So what do you say as you close the distance between these two? And Mara, add an additional die to your roll there because you have someone assisting you.
She's going to slowly, like, move in and just... Do you have anything that's multiplayer that you can show me? And she's going to lean in and plant a kiss on him.
He goes bright pink. What's your roll, Mara?
What was the target number so I can tell you the successes, or do you want me to rattle off all the numbers?
Rattle them off. I
Okay,
have the target number in
Okay.
mind.
585987963.
That just 4 successes. Did you also roll that additional die?
Yes, but it was a 3. Yeah.
That does not meet. So, Ripley, as you're closing the distance, you see Rollo jump from his little... Sorry, I think I left the air conditioning on. Can I go? I'll be right back. And he goes to reach for the air conditioning. Got a chance to grab that journal.
Mara or Ripley?
Both of you. I will say if you assist, I will actually subtract because he is shaken, he is cold. There is a woman that is making his pee-pee hard, so he is rolling at disadvantage.
I think Ripley will act as distraction because she already has his attention for Mara. So she'll grab his robe, or she'll grab his arm and spin him around and just say, I mean, sometimes it's nice to be a little cold, you know? For when things heat up.
You don't even have to roll for that. You already succeeded on so many social checks with this man. He is enamored. His pee-pee too hard. His Mario boxers might be leaving him chilly, but he's enamored with you.
Oh god, do you want me to roll, let's...
We'll say because you are getting a second chance at this, we will do a willpower roll off here. So
Okay.
roll your total willpower, and I will do that versus his. Because right now his awareness is being tested by the beautiful person in front of him versus the cold that has suddenly entered his Miami apartment in the midst of summer.
Mm-hmm. I have a 10, an 8, a 9, a 7, a 2, and a 3.
That matches.
Oh god, okay. So she's gonna slip that little diary.
Oh yeah, I just imagine as he's like adjusting himself, like tying his robe a little tighter, it just falls out. Falls right into your open, stretched palm.
Just... it fades into frost.
You have the diary.
Mm-hmm.
But Ripley, you've got a very interested man who is absolutely enamored with you. How are you gonna tell him off?
Oh, Ripley will follow through with this plan. She will get him in the room and she will go
rock his
take care of
world.
this gentleman and
Yeah.
then she will catch up with the others later.
You're lucky I made him cute. So we will fade to black with those two.
Yeah.
I say, like, all right, let's be generous here. 10 minutes passes.
Mara will leave and just say, it might be a few minutes. But she will show the diary and then put it into her her overall pocket.
So, we're not in a rush at all. I'm gonna text Rolo, saying, just the item or him too.
Rolo, you see the bubble pop up on your phone almost immediately, almost if he's been waiting at his phone. He says, "Are there knights there?" Question mark.
I have not heard back. I don't think I've heard back from Cheshire yet. Did you inform us that they were sleeping?
I wanted to get up some mischief.
Cheshire.
So then I'll just do question marks back to him to roll over. I don't know.
Is this the only night of summer that I've seen?
It is. You look in the back windows. He's got weapons back there. You can see a sawed-off shotgun. But he is fast asleep, even though the apartment building is now rocking.
God, that's gonna be so funny. With all of the grace of a cat slinking by, he walks past the back wheel and sinks a Swiss Army knife into it and then breaks the blade.
So that wakes him up. You see him go, "Oh, what the..."
Could I have also used my, where is it, skin mask feature to have changed my face from Cheshire to the jock that I had terrorized?
I would love that so much, but you have to announce that before you do it.
Okay.
He sees you. You look at him. You make eye contact. He slams the car door in your face immediately. You're taking 3 bashing damage. He is strong. This man has a strength pool of 8.
Ow.
I hear that thud, look out, and immediately text Rolo back. Never mind, yes.
You can hear Rolo's exasperated sigh from, like, across the green belt. Cheshire, he is now stumbling out of the car. He hasn't reached for his weapons yet, but he's got fists and he's got strength and weight to put behind that. You're in a bit of a predicament. We're going to start combat. So first goes to people in melee. It's just like Rule of Darkness rules because I don't really like the combat rules for Chronicle of Darkness.
Okay.
So Cheshire, because you are the main character, you're acting first. What do you do?
What was that for?
You put a hole in my bloody car. You know
I
how much
bumped into your
insurance is
car.
these days? No, look at that. He points at a non-existent dent. He is an ogre. He's not particularly smart. He wasn't taken to Arcadia for his smarts. And he's gonna swing at you if you don't do anything with your action. You
I
can roll
throw
the
the
dodge.
I can roll dodge? What would that be?
Dodge would be your, let me see, give me just a sec, because I have to make sure that athletics also exists in this version.
Also, it's a Swiss Army knife. It's a very small puncture.
He's very special about that car. That thing's his baby. But yeah, roll dex and athletics.
6 successes? I exploded 4 times.
He rolled a 10. Many 10s. You are going to take 4 bashing damage, and on your health chart, bashing damage you already have is going to convert to aggravated damage.
Okay.
You can probably feel your jaw dislocate as his next fist hits you. Saying something like, "I think it's real funny. Got my gent's car where you're sleeping and you could put a knife in, I'll show you what for, take your thunder," and he's just going into you.
Do we hear this?
Oh, absolutely.
I see it, yeah. And I see it and I want to do something once it's like our turn.
Yeah.
Ripley, you will go last if you want to be involved in the scene, but for you guys, because you are eyewitnesses and you are ranged, you may act as well.
Quick look around. Does it look like any other knights are getting out? Or does it look like this is just this guy?
So far, it's just this guy, and you would assume with the fuss that there'd be someone else out here. But the neighbors have opened their windows and are now watching. Mortals.
Which immediately has me put the gun back in. Think for a second, and I'm gonna try something a little risky, but it might be quick enough that it's not going to catch eyes. From the window, I'm just gonna to the drivers go, 1 second please, lean out the window and hard whistle. I'm calling my Fey mount to bulldoze this guy over in a flash, just out of the hedge, back into the hedge.
I'm going to have Mara roll, then I'm going to flavor the scene because these are going to happen at the same time. Mara, what do you want to do?
People are watching.
Mortals. Presumably they're calling the police too because there was a fight going on in their parking lot.
I would like to, as Frost is again kind of go through, kind of like a breeze, kind of going through the windows, see if I can close them and frost them over so they can't see.
All right, for that ability, roll. I'm going to have you spend glamour for that actually instead of a roll because that is going to be a large expedience of your magic. Spend 5 glamour if you want to cover all the windows of that apartment building.
Can I use riding the devil's jawbone? It says inflicts an area with an intense cold, causing penalties to all within, but kind of focus on the apartment building itself.
So devil's jawbone, that is going to be non-discriminate because it affects everyone, but you can certainly do that. Let me look at the... All right, so that is going to be your mantle and your dexterity and your stealth.
Okay, my mantle, dexterity, and stealth. So that's so it's 2, a 6, 4, 7, 9, 9, 3, 5, 6.
So anything above an 8, that's a success. That sounds like about 4.
2 successes because I only have 2 9s. Anything else is 7 and below.
So you cause a good little chill. A cold wind blows through the area. Cheshire, as this happens, your assailant looks up, wondering what's happening. And as he looks up, a draft horse-sized kelpie rushes through a portal that opens up and then rushes back out. He is trampled and he is going to take 2, 3. He's taking 7 damage and he is prone.
Add 2 for the modifier that happens with the Fey Mount's ability, Thorn Beast.
Thorn Beast, right. Add 2. Those both explode. One of those explodes. Explodes again.
Mm-hmm.
That is a total of 11 damage, and that takes him all the way up to aggravated to all of his slots. He is 1 away from lethal. So this horse runs over him. Witnesses see this. Police, you can now hear sirens in the background. It's probably just as Ripley is finishing up, tightening her shirt, doing all that. You watch as this kelpie vanishes through a portal, through the hedge. You see an ogre laying on the floor, Cheshire holding his swollen jaw, and the cold wind blowing through the area. Time to say bye to Loverboy.
I think after she tucks him in and gives him his pre-nap macaroni and cheese, she'll just calmly walk out of the apartment and walk down to the parking lot. I think she goes to get behind the wheel of the car and just starts it up, waiting for the others. We're gonna need to make a getaway.
Absolutely. Cops are about a block away. Cheshire, how are you doing?
Cheshire will walk over to the ogre, lean, and there is the crack of setting the jaw again. You should have just signed for the pizza. Now I'm going to have to take care of you. And there's the flick of a knife. I'm going to try and intimidate him.
Roll intimidation and your presence.
Is there any way I can help using Jack's breath and cooling the air around him significantly?
Absolutely. Make the roll for that. By the way, this is a rented car, so I hope y'all aren't damaging it.
Oh, it's a rental. Okay, I was concerned this was an Uber.
Yeah. I saw in chat that Uber rentals. Like, unless I assume that, like, you specifically want a driver, I'm going to assume it's a rental car.
So what was the, it's specifically like people would leave their cars somewhere and then you can just use your phone to scan
car,
into
yeah.
them. Zip
Yeah.
cars.
So it's a 10, a 9, an 8, a 3, a 4, and a 5.
3 successes. That is enough to cool the air and give Cheshire a little bit of bonus as he intimidates this man. So roll with the little bonus. 1 bonus, to be exact.
8 successes.
It's like a scene out of Halloween, trick or treat. You're standing above this man, the sun framing you like a halo of some horrible angel come to smite him down, your smile growing ever wider. You flick out your knife. Put your finger to your lips. And he just nods, bruised, concussed, tired.
As some more flare, he leans and just kisses the top of his forehead before flicking the knife back and putting it away.
Hop into your friend's car and get out. Cops are pulling in as you're pulling out.
Yeah, about the same time that Ripley was going to open the door, I was like sliding into the front seat because getaway is my specialty. So I'm just going to go, come on in, dear. And I just like slide her across.
For the brevity of time, we won't go through the chase mechanics for this game. I'm just gonna have you do a roll-off against an average police officer. So, Kit, roll your driving and your dexterity.
Mara's in the back just being like, really? You're just looking at Cheshire, you had to start something.
Quick question as I do this roll. Does it's one of the contracts of leaving non-human traces behind, does that extend to vehicles or is that solely myself?
Solely yourself. Vehicles are
Okay,
mortal.
then I won't worry about that.
Listen, you took my thing, so I had to entertain myself.
All right, your difficulty level is 3. The cops rolled 3 successes.
Well, so did I, so there.
Tie goes to the attacker. So you are the attacker in this case, and you managed to get, like, they are just about to pull up their radios, call in an attack, it looks like a hit and run. They don't get your plate. They're not able to find out if it's a rented car or not. You are just gone without a trace. As you begin your tense drive, back to Kim's, back to Rolo's. You sure none of you looking in that book?
I have it in my
I
little...
gave my word.
A promise isn't an oath, though. Oaths carry meaning in Changeling society.
Her kid giving a word means something still.
Holding on to your humanity.
I want to see where this goes, so I'm not going to look into the book. Maybe on another day, I'll sneak back in and see what's inside.
Ripley's too busy fixing her hair again.
Is it possible to open it without and close it without people knowing you looked inside, or does it seem like it's something that...
There's a lock on it in there.
There's a little lock.
Yeah, but it's a kid's diary. It doesn't really lock. I will say you are welcome to all roll against Mara. And Mara, if you attempt to open this without anyone knowing, if anyone doesn't make a move to stop Mara, she can open it.
What would the roll be?
For the roll, it would be wits and... God, I really wish awareness was a thing in this.
Mm-hmm.
It would be wits and investigation.
Alrighty.
And Mara, if you're trying to defend against that, it will be social. It will be not socialize. It will be subterfuge and stealth. Not subterfuge and stealth. Sorry, dex and subterfuge, because you're like trying to hide your book. You're like,
yeah.
No successes for me.
That boy just rocked your world. You know how those, lanky, nerdy boys are.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I just rocked his world. Let's get it right.
I am sorry.
Neutral rocking.
How dare
Neutral
you?
rocking.
I rocked his world, I tucked him in, and I let him go take a little nappy nap.
You made him mac and cheese after. He will never forget you.
I got a 3 with it. I got a 3 with an exploding die.
All right.
If it's 8, then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
Barely beats Kit. Kit, you're focusing on driving, and she's got that stony, icy face in the back of your rearview mirror. She's not going to open it.
7 successes. I rolled 3 10s.
The guy in the back seat with her.
Mm-hmm.
Cheshire, you see her reading through this quite blatantly.
It is the most surreptitious of side eyes through the sunglasses before he looks the other way.
Mara, you find what appears to be an ordinary little girl's diary. It's Blue Jenny's, all right. But it's the name. It's the name at the end that catches your interest. Her name is Hannah Jane. That is her true name, her mortal name before she was taken. You have something very, very powerful against Jenny. And you tuck that book away as you pull up to Kim's with an anxiously pacing Rollo in the front, waiting for you both, saying, I was checking the police radios. What did you do?
Sex.
Got the book?
Sex.
A cop? I was hoping you didn't take ACAB that seriously.
I didn't hurt a single cut.
Okay, do you have the book?
Of course. And she'll pull it out. She had made sure that it didn't look open at all.
Yeah, you pop the lock back in, all that good stuff. Rollo takes it, inspects it, but tucks it in. Come on, we need to go in the hedge. Quick. I don't want the night sniffing around. If there's cops around, then they're gonna follow. Do you all follow him?
Mm-hmm.
Begrudgingly.
You trickle down to the hedge, back through the basement, through those spiny thorns, until you sit before Jenny. Almost like a queen in her chair, but there's something wrong. The hedge has gone quiet. There's no more whispers, no more vibrant green. It almost seems dead. But Jenny looks up at you with a gentle smile. My nights have returned. The diary, please, bring it to me. She holds out her hands.
Did Rollo take it, or does Mara still have it?
Rollo take it. Rollo took it. Rollo hands it to her, and she looks at you all. Well, I'm afraid, darlings, I have some news for you all. I appreciate your effort in returning this book with such subtlety, but there is no coup. And she looks at you all, a wide smile on her face. But as the queen of the icebound heart, all hearts that I break belong to me. You are my knights, and one day we will rise against thunder, but I must build my own court. Welcome, my darlings, to the court of the icebound heart. And with this, she lifts her veil, and you see her face for what she truly is. Ice sculpted, carved, the frozen tears on her face finally stilled. She has played you at your own game. You're hers now, and you feel it in each of your chests as ice clamps around your hearts. You're hers now. Rollo, as you peek over, Rollo looks guilty. He knows exactly what you were leading. He knows what he was leading you into.
So, can I, what
You
does
can
this
say her
mean?
name.
Yeah, what does this mean in total? That we are then bound to her?
Yes. It is essentially if you've made an oath to her, but she's done so through trickery. So, essentially, you're indentured servants. But you know her true name.
Mara will say something under her breath and almost carries like music in the wind to her ears only, and just say, is this truly how you want to play it, Hannah Jane?
The moment the words leave your lips, Hannah Jane, you feel the icy grip on your heart release, and her face falls from this maniacal grin to pure terror. Don't say that again. Please don't say that name again. Mara, please, you don't have to do this. And she rises from her seat, quicker than you've ever seen her move, and she takes her hands. We're sisters. You wouldn't say that. Sisters, right? I could make you a queen, a winter, right? Right? And she begins this desperate, pleading cry to not say the name again.
Dear Mara, what name should you not say?
Mara, I feel like as the kind of cold takes over at their hearts at first, she kind of like bends over in pain a little bit, but stands up. And there is this, Mara has this very icy, kind of hard to break feature to her, but her heart was already made of ice, and it is already being able, you can truly see it now, as she herself also looks more like an ice sculpture than anything, an ice maiden within herself. And she stands up, and she will say, "Release them," to the other three.
I can't just do that, Mara. You know that once an oath is made, it can't be broken. I won't use them. I won't use it against them. Just don't say that name again, please.
Mara,
Please.
if you want, I can help you put the information into the libraries of Autumn.
My curiosity is certainly abound right now.
Please don't. Ripley, I could. That rotten little harlot Maria doesn't know what she's doing. I could make you the Duchess of Spring. I could make you queen. Even once we claim Rose's crown, please just don't tell her, Mara. Please don't.
Mara is going to take a few steps forward as everyone is talking. The room does chill a little bit more. Every step that she takes leaves a frosted footprint behind her, and in her hand appears this. It's this long, usually metal, now made out of ice, pick that has a flattened edge, something you would see a sculptor use to lovingly carve their art out of this frozen solid marble. And it appears in a whirlwind of frost in her hand. Why should I trust you to give me that power when I could take it from you? Hannah Jane.
Half the candles in the room go out as you say the name again, and her face pales even more. She is dissolved into sobbing. Rollo is standing to the side helplessly. He's torn between his loyalty for her and the itch of freedom.
As she sobs, the smile on Mara's face grows as she feeds on this sorrow.
Oh, hey, you're feeding off glamour.
There's nowhere left to run, Hannah Jane.
The last time it leaves your lips, all of you are enshrouded in darkness. The fireplace lights, and you see a hand begin to crawl out like smoldering wood, burning ash, digging itself out. You feel the coldness of the room bite into each of you, even as Hannah Jane's hope has left your heart. You're standing before a true fae, a burned oaken figure. Hannah has become hysterical. She is sobbing, frantically begging, pleading, "Don't take me back, please. I did my best. I had their hearts sworn to you. I would have." The being shushes her, takes her into his arms as she continues to sob, looks at the rest of you, and in a voice like wood crackling over a fire says, "Thank you for returning my dear little Jenny to me. She always had such foolish notions. I wouldn't stay around long if I were you. After all, I can make trips for seconds." He winks. With a flash of light, he and Jenny are gone. The room is still bathed in darkness, but you no longer feel the hold of Jenny over your hearts. And each of you are going to take a hit to your clarity. Despite her treachery, you just gave up one of your own back to her captor.
Thank you for that, Mara. I'll turn and look at Rollo dead in the eyes.
Look, you felt it around your heart. You can't deny her. You can't. I'm sorry. Just please don't kill me. Please.
You should probably start running, Rollo.
I'm not going to kill you, and I'll walk up to Rollo and put my hand on his shoulder. I'm not going to kill you, but like Ripley said, you probably should take a head start here. And I'm going to take his hand and just put my hand on his hand. This is for you. As I take it away, it is a bullet from his gun.
His hands are shaking so badly, he just drops it. He looks fearfully at each of you and darts into the shadows. Gone. You're left in a hollow that is slowly beginning to bloom back into life. Its former master gone. And that is where we're going to close the book and end our chapter here. You changelings have just survived your first encounter with the true Fae of Miami. Who knows what the future holds? But everyone knows this kingdom is crumbling. I want to thank you guys so much for playing this game with me and going through the odds. This has been such an amazing experience. Once again, I'm Abby. I'm your storyteller. You should go follow all these amazing people on their socials and their projects. And thank you for telling this amazing fairy tale with me, each and every one of you. Tonight, I was your storyteller. My name's Abby. You can find me on social media as Enough of Abby, mostly on Twitter and Blue Sky. I might make an Instagram soon, who knows. But I just ran Changeling the Lost, a modified version made to fit more V5 standards. I might release the stuff that I have out now, but if you want to keep eyes on this, I would recommend following this channel and subscribing because Sarah does some amazing work, and so do the people on this show.
It's not about the plugs, Abby.
Shush! Silencio!
Hi, I'm Zachary Vaudo. Tonight I have played Kit Inari, who was also my very first ever World of Darkness character back in 2008. Thank you very much, Abby, for letting me transition him over into Chronicles of Darkness for this fun experience. You can find me on Twitter at YepitZach, on Blue Sky and Spotify at SneakerNet. I create music for this channel and others and myself. Tune in, see if you like it. Follow you soon.
Hello, everybody. I'm RJ. Today I play Cheshire, and we're both stinky and slimy. Me mostly because I'm sweating. I wore a lot of layers today. You can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter, Twitch, and most social media. Come check me out.
Hi everyone, my name is Satan, or Alyssa Vamp in the interwebs, on my social medias and anywhere you need to find me. Today I played Mara, our icy sculpting ice maiden. I hope in the future she can take over this duchy and maybe catch in those favors that these three owe her, technically. But I do a lot of art, not unlike our Mara. But you can mostly see, I'm not really active on social media right now, but you can see my art, especially here in this channel, as I tend to work on overlays and character buffs and such like that. So tune in for that.
Hey everyone, I'm Sarah. I played Ripley tonight, our spring court / autumn court build, and I hope you had a lot of fun. We are all going to go and hang out and chat about this afterwards. If you have any questions for us, we will be doing our usual after show, which will be airing probably tomorrow because we'll have partially pre-recorded it. So it just depends on when we get back together and answer all your questions. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.